Those in favor of?
Yes.
Opposed to? Motion passes. Continue,
We
please.
do have a clause that we need to get out of this.
Yes, sir.
Continue.
Absolutely. There's a 30-day out clause in there, Supervisor Stokes. I have two more matters. One needs to be taken up in executive session. Mr. Lawson Hester, who is your, one of your insurance counsel, your primary insurance counsel, is here to speak to a particular piece of litigation in which he has some recommendations. We need to take that up. The other matter is, and I want to put this on the board's radar, and I will bring it up specifically at the next meeting. We have a group that wants to lease a park, and the county's park policy for leasing was last revised in 1991. I would suggest that we continue allowing usage of the parks, but that we revise the lease agreement, that's what the term the county's use, but we revise the agreement by which folks use the park. I mean, I think we need to continue that the public do it, but we also need to update it some. There have been a couple of changes in the law in 22 years. And I just want to put it on the radar.
Okay.
So Peter, are you gonna draft some wording along?
Already on it. Yes, sir.
Okay, what about, in that, will you be including not just parks, but other public facilities? Like, I know that I've had some requests to use the grounds at the Raymond Courthouse. I wonder if something like that ought to fall.
We can certainly draft, it's just as easy in that document that I'm revising, that we can use it for grounds at the Raymond Courthouse or other things like that, so that when any of you as supervisors have somebody within your district who wants to use one of the facilities, you would just have them execute this agreement.
Okay.
Mr. President,
Okay.
thank you. Peter and Ms. Davis, I was looking through some of my old minutes, and we had some phone numbers for supervisors and other elected officials. And in District 5, they had rural transportation and all of that. Now, that's not under us. So I'm saying, why would that be under District 5? I think the same thing with District 2, they got rural transportation and all these numbers, and it's under us, but it's not under our authority and supervision, and I want to make sure that people in legal, take a look at these, who are the rural transportation?
Where did you get that information from?
I bring a copy,
It's in the employee directory.
Right.
But the rural transportation is done by Harris County Human Resources through MDOT, through the Department of Transportation. I can give you information on that, my husband is okay.
Right, they provide. Right, they provide transportation service.
Okay.
Supervisor Stokes is news to me, but I'll certainly get with Mrs. Carr and
Yeah,
give you appropriate.
initially supervisors for District 2 and District 5 headed up those projects for their particular districts, but it is long since passed. It is now under Harris County Human Resources. And I'll be happy to arrange a meeting with my husband and his staff to give some additional information.
Okay, thank you.
Peter, the last thing that you might have one particular issue.
Yes, sir.
Are you still working toward the request or the legal, I guess whether or not it would be legal for us to go onto private property to demolish those particular homes?
Yes, sir, we are looking at, that's going to be one of our, yes, sir, that is going to be a priority now that we've kind of submitted to the board some memos and identified things. That is a priority to get you a policy and a working procedure before this board, before spring cleanup season starts.
Okay.
Get it presented and passed.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
All
President.
right, continue, please.
That's all I have at this time.
All right, we'll now go to Mr. Carl Freeland.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Morning.
And board members. First item I have is approval of the 4-year road plan, road and bridge plan.
So moved. It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor of?
Yes.
Opposed to?
Mr. President, Mr. Freeman, it's rumored that the city of Jackson's going to put 1.8 billion out here on the streets. If we could get some of that work, it'll really help us charity, and plus we can, and I don't know which form you want to use, I hope you'll work on it, but we can say something, we'll pay 4 streets, and you give us supplies for 2 that we can do in the rural. That's just a guess, but some kind of way, if that kind of money can hit the streets, we shouldn't just let private contractors make all that money. The county, the workers are good workers, quality work. we need to get a chance to get some of this money and supplies in Hines County to help out with. Let's take a look at the street.
That's a good point, Supervisor Stokes. With our workload and the staff we have, and the Hines County Public Works Department does do good work, as you can see, some of the streets we've paved throughout the rural area and throughout the city of Jackson. But it would probably be a minimum of 4 or 5 streets that we could handle with our current workload.
And if we do 4 or 5, they need to give us supplies for maybe 3 or 4 in the rural.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, we'll let you work with, I saw Mr. Williams with public work with the city.
I've actually initiated that about 2 months ago, and I did see him while he was here, so I mentioned to him that we could set up a follow-up meeting to see if we can move that forward.
Thank you, sir.
Do you need me to give you the names of the street in the county we?
We'll work on that offline.
Motion passes. Continue with your next item.
Next item is approval to submit the congressional appropriations request.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All those in
What's all included in that, Mr. Trey?
I can give you a copy, I put it in your packet, but some of the items we have, Byron Clinton Corridor, additionally, the Byron Clinton Corridor Waste Infrastructure Planning and Design, Public Works Facility Building, Stormwater Channel Improvements, Roadside Creating Machine, GIS System, and the Rosemary Road Bridge and Relief Bridge.
What about the bridge repair equipment? You know, you said if we had some equipment, we had the expertise with bridge people, that we could repair some of our bridges that we're now bidding out.
Basically, I talked to state aid some months ago about that, and bridges that our current staff repairs is more of on the basis of wooden bridges. So state aid funds repair and replacement with concrete bridges. We don't have the expertise to work with that at this time.
We only can do wood.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay.
Also, just a
Favor?
request, correct? This is your list of requests.
Right. And I passed it on to your subcommittee.
Okay. All those in favor of?
Aye.
Opposed to?
No.
Motion passes. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right, now we'll go to the Chancery Clerk, State Jean Clark.
Good morning again, Mr. President, members of the board, Mr. President's plural, members of the board. We're going to pass over item number 1. We have no 16th section leases this morning. We have orders canceling tax sale authorizing refund reassessment changes to the assessment roll for your approval.
Pleasure. It's been moved. Is there a second? I'll second. It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor of?
Yes.
Opposed to? Motion passes.
Thank you very much. We request approval of the order for additions and deletions of the supplemental roll for homestead exemptions for the year 2013.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor of?
Yes.
Opposed to? Motion passes.
We request approval to advertise legal notice of publication of final settlement on contract SAP 25-4M in the Clarion Ledger.
Pleasure to board.
Thought we used the Jackson Avenue.
This is a state aid project, and their publications are required to be in a 5-day paper.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. All those in favor of?
Aye.
Opposed to?
No.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. The next item that we have is under other business, and that is your approved bids for the depositories for the next 2 years. These will be the banks that will actually be allowed to hold any county public funds for 2014 and 2015. Basically, it requires that they submit a letter to the Board of Supervisors stipulating that they will follow the appropriate statutes for holding public funds, and to present a copy of their current treasurer's certificate that they would have gotten from Lynn Finch's office in November. The first bid is from Liberty Bank. And this does take a few minutes. They have submitted their letter and their current treasurer's certificate. The next bid is from Merchants and Planners Bank. This is out of Raymond, Mississippi. They have submitted their letter and their current treasurer's certificate. The next bid is from Bancorp South. It includes their letter and their current treasurer's certificate in duplicate. The next bid is from Hancock Bank. We have their letter, their treasurer's certificate, and a copy of their annual report. The next bid is from Regions Bank. We have their letter and their current treasurer's certificate. The next bank is State Bank and Trust. Letter and current treasurer's certificate. The next bid is from Trustmark Bank. I should say Trustmark National Bank. And we have their letter and their current treasurer's certificate. And the final is from Wells Fargo Bank N.A. And we have a copy of their letter and their current treasurer's certificate. At this point, we would request that you approve all of these banks as depositories for 2014, 2015.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second? It's been moved and properly second. All those in favor of?
Yes.
Opposed to? Motion passes.
Mr. President, could we ask legal, and I know their plate is full, but over the years we have all these different accounts, and we don't know who, what, why. Could we get legal to look and see how many different accounts we got, how much money in all these accounts, and give this board some idea about, where the accounts are, where the money at, what's the money for. It just seems like there should be some understanding on this board, and I know we asked Ms. Wood about the money. Why so many people need so many different accounts? I can't understand. It makes no sense. So could we ask legal to look into that, please, Mr. President?
That's fine. Peter? Yes, sir. All right, Brady, have anything else?
Yes, we have minute insertions as listed on your agenda. We do have one to add, and that is the holiday notice for Robert E. Lee and Martin Luther King on January 20th, 2014.
Okay.
And there's no action required on your part.
Okay, thank you very much. We will now ask for a motion to consider going into executive session. It's been moved. Is there a second? It's been moved and properly second. All in favor say aye.